The Red River Farm Network is celebrating women in agriculture. It is our special series we call Agricult-HER. And of course, we need our sponsors to make this all possible. We thank the good folks from the Minnesota Soybean Research and Promotion Council, the Minnesota Corn Growers Association, North Dakota Corn Promotion Council, the Ag Country Farm Credit Services folks, and Van On and Company. And our guest is Nicole Wardner, the executive director with the North Dakota Beef Commission. And Nicole, with full transparency, we should say right from the start that not only did you previously work with the network, but you and I have known each other really your entire life. So get that out right from the start.
Lots of history, lots of good history.
Lots of good history. Let's talk about it. You grew up in Southwest Minnesota on a limousine cattle operation. You're involved in 4-H FFA. Tell me how that foundation helped you as you moved forward.
I think with everybody that says that, being part of 4-H and FFA, it builds your leadership skills and it helps you create that future of passion and wanting to give back and serve the industry of agriculture, no matter which niche or which commodity you end up serving in. But I think what mostly impacted me was my family's involvement in associations and organizations. I think that had more of an impact. Of course, 4-H and FFA are foundations, right? They help you build those connections and those relationships. But I really had great examples in my family. My grandfather was part of the soybean crushing facility in South Dakota, and then he was on the Soil and Water Conservation Board, on the state board. My father served on lots of different cattle boards and was part of the cattlemen's organization as well. And so seeing adults that were active and involved and wanted to help out their industry, I think really shaped where I ended up in my life.
You certainly had a lot of options for careers. You could have gone any way you wanted. Why agriculture?
I don't think there was any other option. I think that was just kind of what was in me. It was in my heart. It was in my blood. I guess you could say I was groomed to be a part of agriculture. It was never an option even with college. It was, you're going to go to an ag school, which I ended up going to South Dakota State, have an animal science degree, and figure out how to be a part of the beef industry, whether that's through production, whether that's through sales, whether it's through marketing, whatever I could find and hold on to. That's kind of where my path, I was determined to be down that path, to be part of the beef industry.
And really it was fate. We ran into you while we were looking for someone for a job in farm broadcasting. Well, you must have been just finishing up school.
It was. Fate's a good word. I think there was a little help in other areas, but very thankful. I have kind of an interesting career path to get here to the Beef Commission, but I started right out of school in farm broadcasting, and not everybody can say that. And I am, I think, a better leader in my role today because I can understand where the media is coming from and what questions they want to know and how to help my board create that story for us to share through outlets like the Red River Farm Network and the media, that you guys are able to create those stories and share those stories to our producers that are listening at home.
And then you went on to some other roles, really with Extension and FSA, right?
Well, like all people, right? My time at the Red River Farm Network had to end because I met my husband, and we live literally smack dab in the middle of the state. We're about an hour north of Bismarck. And so Grand Forks and Mercer were a bit far apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, once we were married and started our family, I started with the Farm Service Agency. So I was a program technician in Sheridan County, which is a tiny county in the middle of the state. Learned a lot about the Farm Bill and programs that are offered through USDA, and was able to create a lot of relationships with the producers in that county. Really excited about being able to take those skills with me on my path. I was recently talking to a college graduate and said, it's like Lego blocks. Wherever your path takes you, you're going to take those blocks with you. You're not going to be able to create anything until you get to the end of your career. And so I picked up a lot of Lego blocks at FSA, and then I moved to the Extension Service. And so I was a county agent in Sheridan County, which my farm service agency path was able to have established all of those those relationships. I was lucky enough to start Extension knowing where everybody lived and where their farm was and what they grew and what they raised and how I could help them through Extension. And that taught me some leadership skills and some abilities on how to teach people. I think that's the greatest skill you can learn from Extension is we can all learn things and absorb it. And until you can regurgitate it or until you can become a teacher, that's when you can have true impact. And so I'm very thankful for my time at Extension because it allowed me not only to learn more about the beef industry in different sectors, but it also allowed me to figure out how to reconvey that story and how to teach people that may be a visual learner, maybe an audio learner, or maybe be show me how to do things learner. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, that's where my path took me. And then after that, I ended up here at the Beef Commission. I started here as the Consumer Marketing and Industry Relations Specialist, which I still wonder what that actually means. But it meant I was the jack of all trades. So very, very fortunate to have worked under Nancy Jo Bateman, who was the executive director here for 38 years. She retired a couple of years ago. So very thankful to work with her. There is no way that I could be able to do the job that I do now today without having spent 3 years with her, guiding me and teaching me about the beef checkoff and our purpose here at the Beef Commission. But I started at just being the person that does programs and education programs and promotional programs and trying to get people to eat beef. And so my story kind of came full circle. I don't know if you probably do remember. I was the 2000 Minnesota Beef Queen, which was tagged with being part of promotion in the state of Minnesota right out of high school. And so my story came full circle about 20 years later when I got to actually do promotion as an adult and get paid for it.
I love the analogy of the Lego blocks. I'm curious, as you look at all those building blocks in your career, how would you describe your leadership style, Nicole?
Oh goodness. I'd say from the back seat. I really do not like being in front. I like helping supply people and getting them the resources and the tools that they need to be able to succeed and so that they can have the light shine upon them. When it comes to the board, I'm here to make you look good. I'm here to have you share your own story. I am that tool. When it comes to staff, what can I do to help you be the best that you can be to assist the producers of the state of North Dakota through their checkoff dollars? And when it comes to some of my other volunteer positions, it's what resources do I have that I can share, but not necessarily be the person out in front. So I would say probably quiet and backseat, even though some people that know me know that I'm not the quietest person vocally.
So would you say you have role models as you've meandered through that career of yours?
Oh, absolutely. And role models, I don't think have to be positive either. I've had some role models that have showed me what not to do. And that's not a bad thing. Not at all. Don, you taught me how to have fun. Don, if you know Don, you know that he works hard and he parties hard. And so I've taken that with me. That was a Lego block that I took with me. Also, be nice.
Very good. That was stuck on our whiteboard all the time, wasn't
it?
Good.
That's awesome. I also have learned as a leader or as a person, as a superior, what not to do. I didn't like it when people said that I couldn't do something, but they turned around and did the same thing. And so I took that with me, that be very aware and know what's going on and around you and how you're perceived, and be an example of how you want other people to act around you or what your expectations are of how people should professionally go about their business. And so that was a Lego block that I took with me probably mid-career. Nancy Jo Bateman, there are, oh my gosh, probably just in the career role that I'm in right now, her as a mentor, she'll tell you that she strapped in because I was going 1,000 miles an hour. I had lots of ideas and I was going to accomplish them. But I mean, she really taught me to slow down and think everything through and think through at different angles and look at it at 360 degrees. She really taught me that beef, well, there's not a lot of producers out there that like to hear that beef is beef and we're all in the same boat. And as long as we have a consumer at the end of the day that is looking to purchase our product, we're winning. And to not sometimes get wrapped up into the local politics or the local relationships that we have. Sometimes neighbors need good fences, but to know that we're all just trying to make it together, because the beef industry isn't going to do anything successful if we're not all together moving in the same direction. So yeah, so many Lego blocks. I'm hoping that I'm halfway through building my whatever it is I'm building. But yeah, there's just lots of things to pick up, and mentors all over. I think even the smallest mentors they don't even know that they're mentors, but you picked up something from them and you walked away with it. Mike Hergert taught me how to appreciate good music while you're working.
He'll enjoy that. So this is a series focused on women in agriculture. From your perspective, are there things the ag industry can do to support young women coming into this business?
I think this era of agriculture really supports women. 20 years ago, of coming out of college, there is no way that I would have thought that we would have had as many female operators as we do. I have a board member, she's in her 60s. The cow herd is hers. It's not her husband's. And I just absolutely embrace that and put her up on a pedestal, because if I can retire and have my own cow herd and not my husband's, I think I'm winning. But I think even not just in production agriculture, but also there's so many more women that are taking on some of these roles, whether it's sales, whether it's parts, whether it's just relationship building or marketing. There's so many opportunities in agriculture, and I think there's a lot less gender bias too when it comes to being a part of that you're no longer the female in the room, you're just the other person in the room. And I think that is something to embrace. And I think as agriculture, as an industry, we've super evolved to appreciate that, what women can bring to the table when we're all sitting around it.
No doubt. You're a mom as well. You've got 2 boys. How important is that foundation for them of being in agriculture? How do you nurture that?
It is. I do. They're 15 and 13. We're getting into those teenage years. I'm more right now, honestly, Don, as much as I would love for them to be a part of agriculture, I want them to find their own passions. Right. But I want them to also be, I think it's more important for them to be good citizens and to be part of their communities. And I think we're really taking a role at making sure that they're involved and they're engaged and they're able to share their opinions in a kind and courteous manner, but also get their thoughts and ideas out there so that they can feel like they are being heard. I don't know where that's going to take them. I don't know where their passion lies. They, of course, 4-H and FFA, they race show pigs. And they show cattle too as well. My husband takes care of the pig barn. I take care of the cattle barn when it comes to the show animals. But I really don't know where they're going to end up, and that's okay. And I think as long as they have that baseline of understanding where agriculture is, the troubles, tribulations, as well as the successes and the satisfaction that comes from production agriculture, if they can take that with them and share our story by living and being on the farm and working on the farm, then we've won. But I think being a part of your community, being engaged and being willing to serve, whether that's on church board council, whether that's the FFA alumni chapter, whether that's being a county commissioner or a city council member, that's more important, because we have less and less people, especially in these rural areas, that are willing to sit up and serve on boards.
No doubt. I want to be conscious of your time. You've been very gracious with me, Nicole, any final thoughts as we again focus in on this this month of March, Women in Agriculture?
I think, if there are ladies out there that are curious as to what agriculture has to offer, I think there are so many niches that are available that even if you're an entrepreneur, you can find some place that you can create some success and some wealth out of. There's also some areas that you can build relationships and find places that you can succeed, as well as growing personally. I really think that if there's a board that's available to get out of your comfort zone, but also be able to serve back, whether that's through, in North Dakota, the SBEAR board, whether it's through your weed board on a county level, or whatever it may be, take the opportunity, because you're going to learn a lot, and you may find a passion that you didn't know existed. We need more people to be involved, but not necessarily everybody in production agriculture is able to sit at the table because they're actively engaged in production agriculture. And I think there's an opportunity for females to become involved that can share some grassroots ideas and be able to contribute at that level. And so it's a great time to be in agriculture. I think it's a great time to share our story. We have a platform, that social media, that has allowed us to be able to share those things. The other thing that I would caution, as with social media and sharing our story, is making sure that we're not running everybody down, making sure that we're sharing a story as a whole and not just individually trying to put ourselves on top of everybody else. And so I think I truly believe that if we're all moving together, we're going to succeed together. And that's going to help agriculture remain, especially in North Dakota, one of the top leading industries for our state.
Wonderful. Great message. What a treat. Appreciate the chance for you to sit down with me today, Nicole.
I'm so thankful for you.
Nicole Wardner from the North Dakota Beef Commission, as we celebrate women in agriculture, our special series called Agricult-HER.